Right at the wedding hall, the bride was hiding in the restroom, carefully assembling a gun. Every precise movement betrayed years of experience. She was the top female agent of the Korean intelligence agency. For her, this mission was far more important than her wedding. Through her earpiece, the voices of her comrades described the target. But the moment she saw him through the scope, her heart skipped a beat. The target had to have been dead. She shot the bodyguard blocking her view, yet disbelief still clouded her mind. She fired again. This time, she saw him clearly. Her assassination target was her ex-husband. The man she had mourned is dead years ago. The minister's urgent commands rang in her ears, but Sook-hee ignored them. She needed to be certain. The wedding had begun, but her mind was elsewhere, spiraling back through painful memories. At 8 years old, she had lost her mother. Her father had been her entire world. One day, trying to play a harmless prank, she hid under the bed. But she didn't see a prank. She saw murder. Her father was killed before her eyes, the perpetrator whistling casually as he searched for something unknown. She tried to stay silent, hoping they would leave, but she was discovered. Instead of killing her, they sold her to a cruel, perverted man. Just as he was about to commit an unspeakable act, a strange noise came from the window. A mysterious figure burst in, saving her. That man became the one who would change her life forever. He was the boss of an assassin organization across the border. From that day, Sook-hee became the youngest assassin in the group. Though still a child, her talent was undeniable. Her first lesson from Sang was clear. Kindness to the enemy was cruelty to herself. Under his rigorous training, she transformed into a deadly, disciplined young woman. She excelled in ways others could not. During grueling underwater exercises, while her teammates gasped for air after 5 minutes, Sook-hee remained hidden, unstoppable. The cold-blooded Sang had rarely shown emotion. But with Sook-hee, he had risked everything to save her. Seeing her smile, he knew she had grown into a force worthy of respect and recognition. Sook-hee's first mission was to hunt down the man who had killed her father, to avenge a grudge that had haunted her for years. But her inexperience led her straight into the enemy's hands. Yet even her captor did not kill her. He claimed he was not the one who had murdered her father. Still, since she had dared to come, punishment was inevitable. Slowly, he raised a knife, the threat palpable, until a loud disturbance interrupted him. An underling rushed to investigate and was swiftly defeated. The boss's instinct screamed danger, but before he could react, Sang descended from above like a hero from legend. Alone, he stormed the battlefield to save her life. In that instant, Sook-hee realized something she could no longer deny: she had fallen for the man who had saved her twice. Bold and fearless, she confessed her love to Sang. She even abandoned her pursuit of her father's killer, yearning only for a simple life with him. Sang accepted without hesitation. They married quickly, living a life that seemed ordinary yet blissful, like any couple building a home together. But happiness was fleeting. Peace shattered when Sang received word from his juniors his most trusted brother, Ama, had been captured. Duty called, and he could not leave his men in peril. Sook-hee watched, knowing she could not stop him, bracing for the worst. The news was catastrophic. Sang had been murdered while trying to save Ama. Seeing his disfigured face, Sook-hee's grief ignited into an uncontrollable rage. This hatred demanded blood. Ignoring Ama's warnings, Sook-hee launched her revenge. She tore through the enemy, eliminating them one by one. Each target fell beneath her gun. From room to room, floor to floor, she advanced relentlessly. Judging by their uniforms, this was a drug operation, but the men were no match for her skill. She crushed them swiftly, her resolve unshakable. Today, she would have her vengeance. At last, she opened the final door. A group of thugs awaited her, weapons ready. Fear did not touch her. Knife in hand, she charged forward, every one of her 10 years of grueling training coming alive in this single, decisive moment. Sook-hee attacked with deadly precision, each strike aimed at a vital spot. But the deeper she went, the tougher it became. Exhaustion from the previous 2 floors weighed heavily on her. Still, even the terrified enemies dared not underestimate the female assassin. After a brief moment to catch her breath, the massacre resumed. Once the last enemy fell, Sook-hee made her escape. But every move she made had been watched by the police. She had narrowly slipped through the siege, only to be captured in the end. Her fate took a sudden and unexpected turn. That drug den had long been on the authorities' radar, yet it was a single girl who had obliterated it. While the crime bosses panicked over Sook-hee, the director of the Intelligence Bureau was impressed. Her skills were undeniable, a potential trump card if properly trained. Sook-hee was recruited as a reserve agent. Before becoming official, she faced a series of grueling tests. Anesthetics filled the room through the air conditioning, and she was knocked unconscious. She was pushed onto the operating table for full plastic surgery. The Sook-hee of the past ceased to exist, but this time, she wasn't truly incapacitated. When the masked men lowered their guard, she sprang into action, taking them down with lightning speed. Amid the chaos, she found a way to escape. She opened a door and stepped into a room where girls were practicing dance. They remained calm, unfazed by the intrusion, as Sook-hee dashed past. The next room led to a kitchen. The people inside barely reacted as she ran through, while soldiers continued their pursuit. Sook-hee fought fiercely, taking one of the men hostage to buy time, dragging him along as she fled. Their chase led them onto a theater stage. Actors and audience alike seemed eerily accustomed to such chaos. Sook-hee ducked into the dressing room, finally seeing a sliver of hope. A short-haired woman stepped forward. She claimed to know the way out, but only if Sook-hee took her along. Together, they approached the final door. Outside, the sky was visible, freedom within reach. The woman ran first, leaping effortlessly over the fence. Sook-hee prepared to follow, but just as she launched herself, the unexpected happened. It turned out that everything from the beginning had been under their control. The short-haired woman was the head of the Intelligence Bureau's military department. Faced with no hope of escape and the unbearable pain of losing her husband, Sook-hee felt desperate, ready to give up on life. But Section Chief Hwan's next words stopped her. When she learned she was pregnant, the thought of death vanished. From that moment, she threw herself into the Bureau's rigorous training courses, mastering every skill she would one day need. 10 months later, Sook-hee gave birth to a baby girl. The little life in her arms became her new reason to survive. Years passed, and Yoon-hae turned 4. Sook-hee finally received a mission that could allow her and her daughter a normal life. She had no choice but to accept. The target's house awaited. One kill, and she would become an official agent, serving the organization for another 10 years, but after that, freedom would finally be hers. The mission was not easy. The man met her attack calmly, almost effortlessly. But for the sake of her daughter's future, Sook-hee had no choice but to risk everything. In the end, he fell under her knife. But the man's daughter witnessed it all. The scene mirrored Sook-hee's own childhood memories, filling her heart with guilt. That hesitation gave his men the chance to react. Sook-hee mounted her motorcycle and raced through Seoul, pursued relentlessly. A breathtaking chase ensued, each moment more dangerous than the last. Finally, she escaped. True to their promise, the organization fulfilled their end. Chief Kwon gave her a new identity, a fresh apartment, a chance at a good life. On her first day moving in, Sook-hee's strength and maturity caught the attention of her neighbor, Han-soo. Even with a child, he couldn't take his eyes off her. But Sook-hee, still guarded, kept him at a distance. Han-soo didn't give up. In fact, the more persistent he was, the more Sook-hee sensed there was something deliberate behind his actions. One day, while packing, she discovered his wallet in her box placed there intentionally. She returned it to him, and that marked the start of their real conversations. Both had shared the experiences of love and loss. Both were single parents. Han-soo began quietly winning her over. He would run ahead to the bus stop to ensure she and Yoon-hae were safe. At the supermarket, he would coincidentally appear. He offered help whenever he could, even holding an umbrella for her in the rain. To thank him for his care, Sook-hee invited him to see her play. Slowly, a new chapter in her life was beginning, one of hope, love, and the possibility of happiness she had never dared to imagine. On the way home, Han-soo once again showed his thoughtfulness. To avoid Yoon-hae's teacher seeing them together, he had the driver stop the car so they could walk home. Even in the pouring rain, his subtle sophistication left Sook-hee both impressed and flustered. The warmth he brought slowly melted her frozen heart. But as always, peace was fleeting. Just when life seemed calm, a new mission from the organization demanded her attention. Sook-hee had to temporarily put her love life on hold. At the meeting point, her old best friend, Minna, was already waiting. This mission required both of them to work together, and success was also Minna's only chance at living freely. Disguised as bar waitresses, they faced immediate challenges. 2 lecherous men approached, making the mission even trickier. Using quick thinking, Sook-hee excused herself to the bathroom and discreetly obtained a phone, successfully backing up the critical data. But when she opened the door to escape with Minna, Sook-hee realized the truth. Minna had been compromised by the enemy. Their covert operation was exposed. Forced to hand over the data, They immediately counterattacked, but the enemy was formidable. Danger escalated rapidly. At the critical moment, Minna threw herself in the line of fire, taking the fatal blow meant for Sook-hee. Pain and grief struck her like a lightning bolt. Clutching Minna and the data, Sook-hee rushed to Chief Kwan. Seeing Minna dying, Chief Kwan remained cold. From her perspective, Sook-hee's choices had led to this outcome. If she had sacrificed herself completely, Minna might have survived. The weight of guilt and loss pressed heavily on Sook-hee's heart. Yet amidst the grief, a new source of hope remained. The love she had found with Hunsu, delicate, thoughtful, steadfast, gave her a reason to live and protect her daughter. She realized that in a world where missions could claim her life at any moment, marrying Hunsu would ensure Yunhai would always have someone to care for her, no matter what. Chief Kwan approved Sook-hee's marriage application, paving the way for her wedding with Hunsu. But peace was short-lived. Her failed mission forced the organization to send a short-haired female agent to finish the job. Meanwhile, Jong-sun, the man thought dead, had returned. Determined to find the person who had tried to kill him, he tracked Sook-hee through hotel surveillance. The woman in front of him sparked an undeniable sense of familiarity. Silently, like a venomous snake, he pointed a gun, ready to strike if his suspicions were confirmed. But when Sook-hee saw him, the man she had once loved, her emotions overwhelmed her. Through her words, Jong-sun realized she was the girl he had personally trained years ago. He said nothing, simply stood and walked away. The next day, Sook-hee received a bouquet of fresh flowers. Inside was a USB, a gift from Jong-sun. To avoid detection, she used a remote internet cafe. Heart pounding, she plugged in the USB. The files revealed a painful truth. Hunsu, the man she loved, had been an agent planted by the organization to monitor her from the beginning. Betrayal cut deep. Refusing to trust the organization any longer, Sook-hee immediately informed Jong-sun that the short-haired agent was on her way to assassinate him. The agent was approaching, but froze as the elevator opened. Jong-sun had intercepted her. Chief Kwan, knowing Sook-hee's connection to Jong-sun, planned to use her as a hostage in exchange. The exchange location was set, but on the way, unexpected events escalated the tension further. Jong-sun once again descended from the sky, a lone hero intervening at the perfect moment. The intelligence agents were caught off guard and overwhelmed. In the chaos, Sook-hee was saved, but now, she had officially become an enemy of the organization. Her priority, take Yunhai and run far away. But fate was merciless. As she rushed downstairs, her house exploded. Hunsu shielded Yunhai with his own body, but the little girl did not survive her severe injuries. Weak and battered, Hunsu seemed to try to say something to Sook-hee before everything went silent. But in the end, he still couldn't say it. Sook-hee's heart shattered. Hatred burned fiercely within her. She had trusted Chief Kwan. After all, he had warned her, disobey or betray the organization, and her family would vanish. No words, no threats, just a quiet, deadly certainty. She opened a video. The footage revealed everything. Hyeon-soo had brought Yunhai home, only to be ambushed by Jong-sun's top disciple. The short-haired agent, brutally tortured, had also betrayed them. Yet even in the chaos, she had been planning a bomb to protect Yunhai. Hyeon-soo confessed to Jong-sun that Yunhai was his daughter, but Jong-sun's cold-bloodedness knew no limits. He demanded Yunhai's life in exchange for Hyeon-soo's, yet Hyeon-soo refused. Though Yunhai was not biologically his, he loved them both with all his heart. Jong-sun left them alive for Sook-hee to witness the tragedy herself. Her world collapsed in that moment. Chief Kwan handed her another recording, Hyeon-soo asking for her hand in marriage. Sook-hee realized the truth. She had lost a man who loved her fiercely, a man who had risked everything to protect her daughter. With nothing left to hold her back, she chose to fight. She would avenge those she loved. She drove her car down from a high vantage point, Uzi in hand. Jong-sun's men were unprepared. Sook-hee forced them to scatter. When she cornered her target, Jong-sun tried to manipulate her with emotions, but she resisted. She threw her gun aside, but she still could not bring herself to kill him yet. Jong-sun, escorted by his men, boarded a bus. Sook-hee pursued relentlessly. Cars crashed, chaos erupted. She stole a vehicle, displaying unmatched driving skills, tore off shattered windshields, climbed onto the roof, and leaped onto the bus. Nothing would stop her. The chase escalated into a battle of willpower. When she finally saw Jong-sun weaken, she raised an axe. Pity flashed in her heart, but she struck, sending him to the underworld to answer for the death of her father. In that instant, she realized the horrifying truth. The man who had killed her father was none other than her husband. Cold-blooded, calculating, he had used her hand to eliminate his enemies, even risking his own daughter's life. Sook-hee had achieved revenge, but at a tremendous cost. Her triumph was built upon the suffering of those she loved. Whether there would ever be light to illuminate the darkness in her heart remained a mystery. And with that, the story reached its conclusion. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to subscribe to Cinevoice. Hit the bell icon to stay updated and enjoy the journey.